that allow us to unite people across color lines, across geographical locations, across generational gaps, across from people's different beliefs, sexual preference, you name it, you know what I mean? Something that underlines what we all have in common and move from there to take and move for a broad-based movement to end poverty here in this country.
I love that. Can you also just tell viewers and listeners to get a sense of Philadelphia?
Well, Philadelphia is a place that where you can see the major contradiction, you know what I mean, when you talk about Democrats and Republicans. You know, they can scream Trump all day long, Trump this, Trump that all day long, but right here in Philadelphia for the last 40 years been run by Democrats, and Democrats run the city, and poverty has been getting worse, you know what I mean, foreclosures have been getting worse, you know what I mean, jobs are being, you know what I mean, thrown and tossed out, you know what I mean, shipped south and abroad, you know, all this stuff is done under the leadership of the Democrats. So when we talk about the big bad guy, the Republican, you know what I mean, no, it's not the case. It's corporations that are puppets, you know what I mean, that are masters to the Democrats and the Republicans that don't never give us a chance, allow us to be able to sit down and tell them these are the things that aren't good for the masses of the people in the country. Letting the jobs leave this community, putting people out of their homes due to foreclosure, allowing these big banks, you know what I mean, to make a lot of money and then bail them out, you know what I mean, when they say they're not making enough money. All these are all the things that are like a recipe for disaster, you know what I mean? And that's what's happening in Philadelphia. A recipe for disaster. We think that it's a recipe that's out there that we can add, you know, in relationship to trying to figure out how to create more jobs, how to ensure people got good quality, decent education, how do we ensure that people got good health care, you know what I mean? Some of these basic necessities that right to food and housing and stuff like that. These are the things that are recipes that'll turn a city around, that'll be a model for the rest of the country to ensure that the majority of the people, you know what I mean, have a right to just not barely survive, but thrive and be all they can be versus to the 1%, you know what I mean,
right.
And the top of the 1%,
right.
You know what I mean,
right.
Being able to flourish and live the great life while the rest of us point up and say something that we have done wrong to ourselves.
So we're going on this Poor People March, Poor People-led march, for those of you watching and listening. And where are we going? We're leaving the Kensington neighborhood, which is one of the poorest neighborhoods I've heard.
Yeah, it's the poorest district in the state of Pennsylvania. Yeah, I mean, here in Kensington is the poorest district in the state of Pennsylvania, where I think it's second to the Bronx. You know what I mean? Second to the Bronx in relationship to being food desert and not being able to get decent quality food for people in the neighborhood. It's a downright shame. You know what I mean? One thing is, you know what I mean, that we know is not a scarcity in this country. You know what I mean? The people that control the technology are the wealthy or the rich. And somehow, you know what I mean, whether it be the solar technology, you know what I mean, to the electronics, you know what I mean, we should be using this for the masses of the people, not just for a slim minority.
And where is this march going after we leave Kensington?
What's
our route?
We're gonna be marching, heading towards West Philadelphia, then Southwest Philadelphia, heading into Media, where we will be stopping the march for the day in Media and caravanning to Pastor Collins Church in Trainer, Pennsylvania, where we'll be standing tonight. One of the things in relationship to morale is people are going to be marching in the rain, you know what I mean, today. So we want to ensure that we had a place for people to sleep inside, you know what I mean, dry their clothes, get ready, you know what I mean, for the march on Sunday.
And then we're going to where on Sunday?
Sunday we're going to be heading down past through Upper Darby, you know what I mean, heading down towards Maryland, steady, taking Route 1 south, you know what I mean, to Maryland, you know what I mean, where we're going to be bypassing Delaware and all that stuff because we're taking the straight route. Let's take the straight shot going south, you know what I mean, using Route 1 to try to make sure we get to D.C. in a timely fashion.
What are we going to do in D.C.?
D.C. is going to be a great time in D.C. where we're going to be a number of different things. I know HUD, you know what I mean, Ben Carson is on our agenda, You know what I mean? To see him who's trying to triple the rent, you know what I mean, for low-income people across this country. People are struggling every day to pay the rent that they have, and he's trying to triple the rent. We're also going to be seeing the Chambers of Commerce, because we think, you know what I mean, the politicians are up there on Capitol Hill, but they're all puppets, you know what I mean, to the big banks, you know, and the big corporations, and as well as doing reality tours, having different cultures coming from all around the country that's going to be singing, you know what I mean, spoken word.
Poet's going to perform.
Yes, giving people a chance to be able to like interact, you know what I mean, in the culture, because we think, you know, a very spiritual lifting is people being able to interact in different cultures and get a chance to understand them. If we don't start figuring out how we're going to understand each other's cultures and stuff like that, we're not going to be able to be on the same page to unite across the board, you know what I mean, to put it into homelessness and poverty.
Ashe, any last words?
I just say, you know what I mean, what the last thing poor people need is pity. What we're trying to do is really gain power, and we think it's going to come with working with all sections of the population and getting the other different sections of the population that aren't experiencing poverty, but let them know it's right around the corner. And that's the sad thing. You know what I mean? You might not be, you know what I mean, going through some hardship and stuff like that now, but in order for someone to turn their millions into billions, they have to take your crumbs, you know what I mean, and make them a bigger cake, you know, and we want to put it into that and ensure that everybody can not just have crumbs, but have a slice of the cake.
Thank you,
Right on.
Galen J. Taylor, a part of the people, bro.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Yeah. There it is there.
Let's see if we can... I'm gonna scope right now. How are you doing? We just happened to run into Sherry Honka. Like you say, a few words to PNN viewers what we're doing today.
We're getting ready to make sure that real poor people in this country lift up our voices. We're not afraid of any kind of thunderstorm.
We've been in one.
All we need is our feet, and we will walk.
Ashe! See you in Washington. All right. And that's it for now. We're going to do a scope around, fam. The poor people are gathering so that we can create our own self-determination. And we'll be tuning back in about maybe 20 minutes. Stay tuned. Poor News Network on the scene in Lenape territory, Philadelphia, the colonizers called it. Peace.
Hit the close it. Close it.
Close it, yeah. And then say, okay, this one.